And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review of Netflix's original Japanese series, The Journalist. There's also a movie by the same name, and I believe this has been adapted by the film into this 6-episode series. But is it any good? Let me know your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please excuse my wet hair. I just jumped out of the shower, and I really wanted to get my thoughts on this out while I have it in my head, because at my age, things tend to disappear quite quickly. So let's jump in. A journalist known as the Maverick of news media defiantly chases the truth of the series adaptation of this hit movie of the same name. There's really 4 main protagonists here. We have the journalist who we follow a lot of the story with. I would say we have the scapegoat, we have the powerful, and we have the demoted. I will say that the first episode, there is a lot of walking and talking. There's a lot of bobbing heads and interviews, and you're probably going to be bored out of your head. It's not until the end of the episode of 1 that you're starting to understand where the story actually is in this mini-series, this 6-episode series. And then the beginning of episode 2, there's a bit of emotional depth there. This is a builder. You have to allow the story to build the characters in amongst the journalistic news integrity that this story unfolds. It's all about whistleblowing, it's about government corruption, and feels very apt for the time we're living, if not a bit old, because this story kind of takes place just before COVID. In fact, the story is affected by, I believe, the Olympic Games being put on hold, as well as COVID coming in, and you're seeing the effect of how society is changed during these 6 episodes because of COVID. So I thought that was an interesting way to go. It feels a little bit old now because, we're 2 years down the line. It would have been nice maybe to have them incorporated that and seeing how people do that now. Nevertheless, it reminded me a little bit of series like The West Wing or Newsroom. You take elements of hard-hitting journalistic integrity and you put them up against corrupt governments and officials and other departments that will stop at nothing to keep the truth hidden, and where you have journalists trying to obviously reveal the truth, but you also see the other side of once the truth is revealed, or if the truth is revealed, what that truth would do to the people involved and how many others it would be affected. So rather than just go, the truth needs to be set free no matter the cost, it actually talks about and shines a light on what the truth would be and what it would do to the people around it. But we also see the effects of lies. We have a prime minister hiding a truth and the trickle-down effect into the various departments, and we see how devastating that lie can be to other departments when other departments are forced to conceal that lie and make the Prime Minister's lie the truth. And so what happens is certain families, which is where we get the scapegoat, the powerful, the journalist, our 4 main protagonists, we see how they get involved in the story. And that's really where the puzzle piece comes in together, and you have to read. Now here comes one of the few times I'm going to suggest, if you are not a native Japanese speaker, I would say reading subtitles and listening in English. If English is kind of your main language, listen to it in English. It's not terribly done. At the same time, read the subtitles. And the reason why is you're getting the gist in the dubbing, but the dubbing isn't always accurate. So if you manage to read the subtitles as well while you're listening to the English, you'll understand sometimes the nuances that aren't converted correctly because some words can't be directly translated, and breathe. And that's why you kind of need to have both. But for the most part, you should be able to listen to the English and then occasionally look up and go, that doesn't sound right. And then you're reading almost a completely different tact on the meaning of what has just been said. However, if you don't mind reading fast, then do stick with the original Japanese and listen, because some of the conversation is flying by, where you have multiple people in a newsroom talking about a conversation, and you'll have a news TV outlet kind of blaring out, and it's also trying to dub those, and you're reading really fast and you're trying to keep up what's going on. At the same time, you can't really get the facial mannerisms and expressions of what is being expressed because you're reading. Which is one of the few times I would suggest, if you can handle the dubbing, then do that, because you'll understand the emotional integrity that the actors are performing here. And this is one of the strongest parts about this series. Some of the actors, especially our scapegoat character, shows the emotional turmoil, I guess, fear, distress that they're going through, visibly shaking in some parts, and really you feeling for this character. So when people get affected by this, they're showing it, and it's the most expressive I've seen from a Japanese TV series. Normally I see all the, I guess it's respect but very little is shown in ways of emotionality on faces. So I was very surprised to see that in this series. And so when you do get it, it's so much more effective and hard-hitting when somebody is shaking visibly from fear or distress or crying. I thought, wow, okay, that was really getting me. Even though it's just about, you know, it's a news article, but it's stuff that has happened in government. It's all about respect and how you hold yourself as a human being, and when everything you believe in is taken to not really being considered, and they shove that to the wayside. Yes, but you got to do what we say because we're the government and what we say is right. And I'm sure many people in the world can relate to that. We certainly can in the UK, and I know Americans can. And I'm not going to get into politics, but just every government seems to have its, I guess, it's flaws, because we're all human and we make mistakes, and sometimes those affect others around, especially when you hold power. And those stories is why this type of story hits hard, because you can relate to it somewhat. Government corruption seems rife in our world today, and I think it's a very interesting story to tell now. The ending left me feeling, yeah, it's kind of settled, but what happened to this person? It doesn't, I guess it's a slice of life in reality in like the government, politics and journalism, because it doesn't kind of finish all the storylines, but it does finish a storyline, and you kind of are left feeling, I guess that's good. There's hope for the future. It is somewhat frustrating to watch though, because every time you feel like the truth is going to be revealed, that person will kind of just close it down, go, no, I can't reveal it. And you're like, you're willing them to just be the one to bring the light to the truth. And it doesn't happen. And I was just like, ah. I do wonder if this is stretched out a bit too much though. If this was told in one story in an hour and a half film, or probably 2 hours, then I do wonder 6 hours, because some of the episodes are hour long, so it's probably about 5.5 hours of viewing that they've stretched that story out to. And I do feel like they could have moved it along, but for the most part I did enjoy it once I got past the first episode, and I kind of stuck with it, getting into those characters, seeing the emotionality, what the actors had to bring. Nothing to write home about in cinematography or score really, but I think here it's the story and the acting that made me go, okay, I'll rate this 3 3/4 out of 5 Nicolas Cages. Let me know in the comments below. When I started out, I was probably going to give this 1.5 because I was utterly bored. And to finish where I did makes me think, yeah, sometimes series you need to give them time to build those characters, to build that story. An interesting one. Not one I think I'll go back to, but as a one-time watch, I think it was interesting, especially in the current light of where we're at now. Loads of new content coming out to our channel. There's the Tragedy of Macbeth out now. We've got Sex Appeal coming out on Friday, and a number of other reviews. I'm hoping to get Scream out, but we're definitely going to talk about that on our podcast with Chris from Movies and Munchies. That'll be released on Sunday, so look forward to that. We're going to be doing spoilers with that film. Thanks so much for watching, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long on Tuesday.